Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. I'm out here in Memphis, Tennessee with the bishops, deacons, and captains. We're in Memphis, Tennessee for another grand opening because the South has something to say. What's the address out here?
3620 Commerce Circle.
So brothers, sisters, bring your Bibles, pens, notebooks, and pens. Bring your husbands, wives, and your children to learn the history and prophecies for what we as a people need to do to survive in these last days. All right, Israel, we'll see you then. Shalom.
Let's get into some alms, dealing with alms first, before we get into anything else. So what do we learn? The disciples, the true disciples, are the Christians of the Bible that keeps God's laws. And they're black, or so-called black. I'll use that word. Let's go to Matthew chapter 6. We're going to read verse 1 through 4. So what are we going to deal with right now, since we have a lot of people that's, a lot of brothers and sisters that's been here 1 year or less in the truth. We're going to go over the difference between alms and tithes and offering. Okay, coming into the out of the world, we was always been taught dealing with tithes and offering. Okay, we're going to explain to you according to the Bible what that is. Okay, so we're going to deal with alms first. Let's go to Matthew chapter 6. I want verse 1 through 4.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 1. Take heed that ye do not your alms before men, to be seen of them. Otherwise, ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven.
So this is going into alms, okay? So I'm going to show you what Christ said. I'm going to show you what Paul done, and then I'm going to show you the effects of you dealing with alms. So this is not a class about y'all paying your alms, because the body does very, very well. But the point is that I want to show you what the alms that you pay, the effects that it have on you, as well as the people around you. So read that again, what Christ said.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 1. Take heed that ye do not your alms before men to be seen of them. Otherwise, ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven.
So what is Christ saying? He's saying, hey, look, we got an alms box back here. You don't have to tell everybody, hey, look, I'm about to put in about $200, $300 or whatever. You know, do your business, put it in there, and that's it. He said, don't do things to be seen amongst other people. Read on.
Verse 2. Therefore, when thou doest thine alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do.
Just like I mentioned, hey, look, I'm about to go pay my alms. I'm about to go do this. I'm about to dump $500 over in a box over there. Read on.
Therefore, when thou doest thine alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do,
Read.
in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Verily, I say unto you, they have their reward.
So what is your reward? Your reward was to have the glory of men, to show what you wanted to do. Christ said, hey, that's your reward right there. You wanted to be seen. Read on.
Verse 3. But when thou doest alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand do.
So that's a carnal term that we know in the streets. Don't let your left hand do what you know what your right hand do. You don't have to tell everybody what you're doing. Just go ahead and do it. Read on.
That thine alms may be in secret.
You see that? So your alms could be what you pay with your alms is in secret. Read.
And thy Father, which seeth in secret, himself shall reward thee openly.
So the Most High can reward you openly. Okay. Let's go to Acts chapter 24. Let's see how Paul dealt. Actually, give me 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1 first.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 1. Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ.
So like we read in Matthew chapter 6, verse 1 through 4, Paul is a follower of Christ, okay? He took the orders of what Christ said. So let's see what Paul did. Give me Acts chapter 24. I want 14 through 16. Actually, 17.
The book of Acts chapter 24 in verse 14. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which thy call heresy,
Read.
So worship I the God of my fathers.
The God of who?
My fathers.
Read.
Believing all things which are written in the law and the prophets.
So Paul believed everything that was written in the law and of the prophets. okay? Following what? His forefathers. Read on.
And have hope towards God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust.
Read on.
And herein do I exercise myself, to have always a conscience void of offense toward God and toward men.
So keeping God's laws, he's not going to have any offense. Read on.
Now, after many years, I came to bring alms to my nation.
To who?
And alms to my nation.
Did he say everybody? He said his nation, okay? In Christianity, they give money to everybody, okay? Read that again.
Acts chapter 24 and verse 17.
Yes.
Now, after many years, I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings.
You see that? That's what Paul done, okay? So let's get a little bit into dealing with the alms, okay? Let's go to Tobit. Let's see what Tobit did. The effects dealing with alms. Tobit chapter 1 through 3.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 1. The book of the words of Tobit, son of Tobiel, the son of Anael, the son of Aduel, the son of Gabiel, of the seed of Asher, of the tribe of Naphtali.
So Tobit was from the tribe of Naphtali. No. Yeah. Keep going. You're right.
Verse 2. Who in the time of Manasseh, king of Assyrians, was led captive out of Thisbe, which is at the right hand of that city, which is called properly Naphtali in Galilee above Asher.
Read.
I, Tobit, have walked all the days of my life.
So this is Tobit. We're in the Assyrian captivity, just like we're in the Babylonian captivity today. Okay. Let's see what Tobit did. Read.
I, Tobit, have walked all the days of my life in the way of truth and justice, and I did many alms deeds to my brethren.
Did he say to everybody? Even in captivity, he did his alms deeds to his brethren. Who's his brethren? Who's his brethren? Give me Jeremiah 34:9.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 34, in verse 9. That every man should let his manservant and every man his maidservant, being an Hebrew or an Hebrewess.
Being a what?
Being a Hebrew or an Hebrewess.
Read.
Go free, that none should serve himself of them, to wit, of a Jew, his brother.
So the Hebrews and Hebrewess, his brothers and sisters, that's his brethren, okay? Let's go back. Read that again. Tobit chapter 1, verse 3.
The book of Tobit, chapter 1 and verse 3. I, Tobit, have walked all the days of my life in the way of truth and justice. And I did many alms deeds to my brethren and my nation, who came with me to Nineveh, into the land of the Assyrians.
So in this captivity that we're in today, your alms deed is supposed to go to your own people, okay? To help out your own people, okay? So from there, let's go to Tobit chapter 4, verse 7 through 11. And so now we're going to get into, well, okay, if that's what we're supposed to be doing, giving our alms to our own people, how does the Lord deal with us when we do these things? Tobit chapter 4, start at verse, what I got here? Verse 7. We're going to 7 through 11.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 7. Give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious.
Don't be envious when you do things. If you don't want to give it, just don't give it, okay? Read on.
Neither turn thy face from any poor.
Read.
And the face of God shall not be turned away from thee.
So you see that? Don't turn your face away from the poor. So like Christ said, we're going to always have the poor amongst us, okay? Read on.
If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly.
So you have a lot, hey, give it accordingly. Read.
If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little.
So don't be ashamed if you only have a little to give. Don't be afraid or ashamed to give. Read.
For thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity.
Read.
Because that alms doth deliver from death, and suffereth not to come into darkness.
Read verse 10 again.
because that alms doth deliver from death, and suffereth not to come into darkness.
So we do a good job of paying alms. I just want to show you some of the things of what alms does. It delivers us from death. Deliver you from death, okay? From there.
Verse 11. You didn't get verse 11. Read verse 15.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 15.
Read.
Do that to no man which thou hatest. Drink not wine to make thee drunken, neither let drunkenness go with thee in thy journey.
So that's going into drinking and driving. That's in the scriptures. So like when you're having a feast, drinking, don't let drunkenness go with you in your journey. So keep reading the next part. Verse 16.
Verse 16. Give of thy bread to the hungry, and of thy garments to them that are naked. And according to thine abundance give alms, and let not thine eye be envious when thou givest alms.
So it says that in the New Testament as well. All right, keep reading.
Verse 17. Pour out thy bread on the burial of the just.
See, that's where they got that from. Pour out a little liquor for my dead homies. Hold on, read that again.
Pour out thy bread on the burial of the
Meaning
just.
I'd rather waste money on the dead righteous people, read,
but give nothing to the wicked.
than to give to the wicked. That's why I say help not the sinner. All right? Y'all got that? All right.
No, we're not. Go to Tobit chapter 12. All praises.
The book of Tobit, chapter 12.
Actually, you know what? You just said something right there. Hold on. Actually, I was going to get to that. He said that. You remember what he just said? Tobit chapter 12, 1 verse 8 and 9.
The book of Tobit, chapter 12 and verse 8. Prayer is good with fasting,
Read.
and alms and righteousness. A little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness.
Read on.
It is better to give alms than to lay up gold.
It's better to give alms than to lay it up for yourself. Read on.
For alms doth deliver from death.
Read that again.
For alms doth deliver from death.
Alms, paying your alms, it delivers you from death. Read on.
And shall purge away all sin.
So what are we doing right now? Around this time, it's purging season, okay? Purging out the leaven. It's saying the same thing. This is what alms do for you. Read it again.
Verse 9. For alms doth deliver from death, and shall purge away all sin.
Read.
Those that exercise alms and righteousness shall be filled with life.
Those that exercise, meaning give alms and righteousness, shall be filled with life. So I just want to show you the effects of certain things when you do pay your alms. Like I said before, this is not a bash against, because we do a very good job. I'm just trying to show the effects of what happens, or how the Lord moves when brothers and sisters actually pay their alms. Yeah, go ahead.
Matthew 6, and is it 32? So the scripture says alms purge away sin. So I want to show you an example of how. We come into this truth, we may be battling all type of works of the flesh. Just say it might be smoking weed, cigarettes, using prostitution, using your money to fulfill the lust of the flesh, right? I'm going to show you how alms purge away sin. All right, read Matthew 6, or one of the ways it purge away sin. It's Matthew 6 and 32, right? Can't serve God and money.
Okay. No, that's not it.
It's right up in there. Yeah, can't serve God and mammon.
Okay. Okay, yeah. 6 and 24.
Okay, read that.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 24. No man can serve two masters.
You can't serve two masters. That's why the love of money is the root of all evil, because it becomes your God. Read.
For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else
So
he
when
will
you
hold.
give alms, you straying away from what you use money for carnally, and you supporting your people, and at the same time you purging away that sin, because now what? You putting your money where your mouth at, right? Say, Lord, I'm going to show you I ain't going on Lamar today. Y'all know what Lamar is, don't it? It's right there. This little $40. Let me talk in the language y'all understand.
Yeah.
This little $40 right here.
Yeah, they know what's up with that.
Y'all know about the $40 is famous on social media, right? Y'all know about the $40? Man, read that, man. Read that.
Matthew
Read
6
that.
and 24. No man can serve two masters.
Read.
For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other.
That's how it purge out sin, because when you let it go, you showing you despise that sin. And you holding dear to what God said, read.
Ye cannot serve God and mammon.
You can't serve God and money. So there's another way that alms help purge away sin. That's it.
All praises. Give me Sirach chapter 3, verse 30. So what we want to show you that, when your labors and things that you do is not in vain. It really helps out the nation as well as the effects that it helps you out as well. Sirach chapter 3, verse 30.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 3 and verse 30. Water will quench a flaming fire, and alms maketh an atonement for sins.
So just like water will quench a flaming fire, it puts it out. Alms make an atonement for sin. The atonements that we need, the mercy that we need from God, that's the alms actually is part of that as well, making atonement for the sins that we're in. Okay? From there, Sirach chapter 12, verse 1 through 5.
Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 1. When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it.
Read that again.
When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it.
So you got to know, you got to prove a friend. You got to know who you're doing good to, okay? So what is good according to the scriptures? What? Young man in the back. Stand up. Let's read it.
The book of Romans, chapter 7, and verse 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good.
Just and good. Okay, let's go back.
Book of Tobit, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 1. When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it.
So when you do good according to the law, you got to know who you're doing good for. And it's going to explain itself. Read.
So shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits.
Read.
Do good to the godly man.
It says do good to the godly man, according to the commandments. Read.
Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense.
So that godly man is going to pay you back for the good that you do. Read.
And if not from him, yet from the Most High.
And if you don't get that from him, you'll definitely get it from the Most High in due time. Read on.
There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil.
There can no good come to him that is always breaking God's laws. Occupied in evil. There's no good to them that keeps breaking God's laws. Read on.
Nor to him that giveth no alms.
Read verse 3 again.
There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms.
You see that? You see how that correlates with each other? Read it one more time.
There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms.
Read.
Give to the godly man, and help not a sinner.
Now, I definitely wanted to, verse 3 was the point, but many of y'all that's been here a year or less, I needed to kind of read down because in Christianity, I remember when I used to come from Sunday church and then used to go to get me something to eat and, hey, brother, here's $5 or whatever. You're feeling good from that feel good sermon. You're really thinking you're doing the right thing. So read that again.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 3. No, verse 4. Give to the godly man and help not a sinner.
God do not want you to help people that's breaking God's laws. Even the people that's actually on the street corner begging for money that you know that's not keeping God's laws, he said no. You give me Matthew 4:4. This is what you tell them.
The book of Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
So that's how you're going to live. When you see those guys on the streets, you got to give them the scriptures, okay, to get themselves right. All right? Let's go back and read Sirach 12 and verse 5. Read 4 and 5 again.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 4. Give to the godly man, and help not a sinner.
Help not a sinner. So we pay our alms so we can help out our people that's keeping God's laws. Read on.
Do well unto him that is lowly.
Read.
But give not to the ungodly.
You see that? Don't give to the ungodly. Read.
Hold back thy bread.
Hold back your bread. Read.
And give it not unto him.
Don't give it to the ungodly. Read.
Lest he overmaster thee thereby.
At least he overcome you as a result of what you've done. Read.
For else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him.
You see that? See what God says? When you do that, you're going to see twice as much evil for the good thing that you've done unto him or her. All right? So that's some of the effects of when you're paying alms. You know, you brothers and sisters, y'all do very well in here. I just want to kind of expound on certain scriptures about dealing with alms. Now, since we have some people that's been here, a year or less, we're going to explain what tithing is all about, okay? So, and you definitely join in this because it's kind of funny. I like that. Let's go to Malachi chapter 3 and verse 8.
Can I read it like a pastor?
Yeah, you could, yeah. Yeah.
If you're not familiar with this scripture, this might be the only one you have heard in church.
No, but no, you got
Your
to start
whole life, besides John 3:16.
You got to read verse 8 first. This is how you got to get pulled in with verse 8. Okay.
Malachi chapter 3 and verse 8. Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In tithes and offerings.
The hell is this?
So y'all know, like, y'all, whenever you read that, you know, you're in the Christianity, your head go down like, dang.
Start coming around here.
You get to sweating.
Yeah, that's right. Get to sweating, right?
The crazy thing is, this verse is talking about your pastor robbing God. But he got
Exactly.
you thinking it's talking about you.
Right.
Read on. Read verse 9.
Verse 9. Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation.
Okay, so what is that going? Go back to chapter 1. I'm going to show you what that means. Verse 9. I'm going to show you what all this is going to. Read chapter 1, read verse 8.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 8. And if he offer the blind for a sacrifice, is it not evil? And if ye offer the lame and sick, is it not evil? Offer it now unto thy governor. Will he be pleased with thee, or accept thy person, saith the Lord of hosts?
So what is it talking about? It's talking about the Levitical priests. We was offering blind, sick animals to the Lord, okay? He said, you think I'm going to accept that? Give it to your governors, your leaders. See if they'll accept the same thing that you're trying to give me. Jump to verse 13 and 14.
Malachi chapter 1 and verse 13. Ye said also, behold, what a weariness is it, and ye have snuffed at it, saith the Lord of hosts. And ye brought that which was torn, and the lame, and the sick. Thus ye brought an offering. Should I accept this of your hand, saith the Lord?
So this is going to offering animal sacrifice. What was going on is our people, the Levitical priests, was offering lame, sick, torn animals. Okay, we were supposed to offer the best to the Lord, but we got to a point where this was the offering that we was given. Read verse 14.
Verse 14. But cursed be the deceiver, which hath in his flock a male, and voweth and sacrifice unto the Lord a corrupt thing. For I...
So what he's saying, hold on, let me get that real quick. So the priests that actually, they was cursed by sacrificing diseased animals, okay? That's what he means by cursed be the deceiver. Read on.
But cursed be the deceiver, which hath in his flock a male, and voweth and sacrifice unto the Lord a corrupt thing. For I am a great king, saith the Lord of hosts, and my name is dreadful among the heathen.
So when Israel keeps God's laws, the nations, they get very, very afraid. That's when the Lord started protecting us. So let's go back to Malachi chapter 3, verse 9.
The book of Malachi chapter 3 and verse 9. Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation.
So now you have a better understanding of that we was cursed because we was the Levitical priests was sacrificing diseased animals. Okay, that's the offering that it was talking about. But keep going.
Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse.
So the verse 10 is what they read in the church. Read on.
Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse.
Read.
That there may be meat in mine house.
Read on.
And prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts.
Read.
If I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it.
So that's what they read, but you got to read verse 11 as well. Read on.
Verse 11. And I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes, and he shall not destroy the fruits of your ground, neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field, saith the Lord of hosts.
Okay, so now we got to get the understanding of what Malachi 3 and 10 is all about. This is what you guys used to hear in church, right? Malachi 3 and 10? Okay, so now we're going to get the understanding. Read it again.
Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse.
So let's see what the storehouse that God is referring to. You got the precept? No, 2 Chronicles. 2 Chronicles 32.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 32 and verse 12.
28.
28? Oh, okay. Here we go. 2 Chronicles 32 and verse 28. Storehouses also for the increase of corn.
So read it slow. Read it again.
Storehouses also for the increase of corn.
So the storehouse is for the increase of your corn. Read.
And wine.
The increase of your wine.
And oil.
Increase of your oil.
And stalls for all manner of beasts.
So the increase of your animals. Is that it?
And coats for flocks.
And your flocks. Let's go back. So now we have a better understanding what God's storehouse is. Read again.
Malachi chapter 3 and verse 10. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse.
Bring your crops and animals to the storehouse. Read.
That there may be meat in mine house.
That there may be food in my house. Read.
And prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts.
Prove me that you're going to keep God's commandments, saith the Lord of hosts. Read.
If I will not open you the windows of heaven.
Let's get the windows of heaven real quick. Make sure you new people write these precepts down. Hate to see you fall out this truth and be back in the Christian church.
Especially the 32 months.
This is not understanding this made many televangelists filthy rich off our people on these scriptures alone, having no understanding whatsoever. So it's going to be up to you. When your light is shine, you might have a sit down with your family or your friends in the world, and they might want to know what this really means. Okay?
The book of Genesis, chapter 7 and verse 11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day, were all the fountains of the great deep broken up.
Read.
And the windows of heaven were opened.
Let's see what happened.
And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights.
So when the windows of heaven, read Genesis 8 and 2. So when the windows of heaven opens, rain comes down, okay? That's when the windows of heaven open, rain comes down. Genesis 8 and 2.
The book of Genesis, chapter 8 and verse 2. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained.
So when the windows of heaven are closed or stopped, it stopped raining. It's really that simple, okay? That's what the windows of heaven is referring to, right? Open, rain comes down. When it's restrained, the rain stops, all right? Let's go back and read again.
Malachi chapter 3 and verse 10. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse.
Bring all your crops and animals, according to 2 Chronicles chapter 32, verse 28. That's the Lord's storehouse. Bring your crops and animals to the storehouse, read.
That there may be meat in mine house.
That there may be food in my house, read.
And prove me now herewith, saith the Lord, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing.
So the blessing is what? Rain. Rain for what? For your crops and animals. Because if the windows of heaven are restrained or closed, what happens? It's a drought, right? Crops and animals are destroyed.
But see, Christianity, when your pastor read that verse, guess who he become? The dude on Price is Right, Drew Carey. Now the windows of heaven open. You waiting what's behind the curtain? A new car. He got you thinking. He say, "I'm gonna open up the windows of heaven. Go clean your garage out. The Lord gonna bless you with a car." We believe that stuff all our life. The windows of heaven meant the price is right. If your you see what I'm saying? If your money right. It's crazy. All right, that's all I got.
All praises. Let's go back to read verse 11.
Book of Malachi chapter 3 and verse 11. And I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes.
So the devourer is someone that destroys crops and animals. So God, when he says, prove me thou with, say the Lord, mean prove me if you're going to keep these commandments. This is what I'm going to bless you with. If you do this, I'm going to rebuke the devourer, the ones that devour crops and animals. Read.
And he shall not destroy the fruits of your ground.
See that? Read.
Neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field, saith the Lord of hosts.
Let's go to Deuteronomy 14. So that's what Malachi 3 and 10 and 11 is all about, okay? Is dealing with crops and animals. When we talk about alms, is dealing with money, okay? So let's read a law on that. Deuteronomy chapter 14, let's start at verse 22.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 14 and verse 22. Thou shalt truly tithe all thy increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year.
You see that? So that's when, see, it's not talking about, the tithing is not talking about money. It's talking about the increase of, read it again, the increase of thy seed, that the field, so the tithing is dealing with stuff in the field. Okay? Read on.
Verse 23. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there.
Read.
And the tithe of thy corn,
the increase of your corn,
of thy wine,
increase of your wine, read.
And of thy oil,
increase of your oil, read.
And the firstlings of thy herds, and of thy flocks,
the increase of your firstlings, your herds and your flocks, read.
That thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
Read.
And if the way be too long for thee.
If the way was too long for thee, this is a law, like where Israel was living at, okay? The place where the Lord chose his name is Jerusalem. But let's say that you was 300 miles away from Jerusalem. Let's put it that way. But the way is too long for thee. Read.
And if the way be too long for thee,
read on.
So that thou art not able to carry it.
For you're not able to carry all those crops and animals of your increase that you received. Read.
If the place be too far from thee,
read on.
Which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there,
read.
When the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it into money.
So then you're going to turn to the money, right? So what do you got to do? You got to sell all those crops and animals that is too far for you to carry all those things. So you sell, okay? You turn it into money, okay? All your increase. Keep going.
Then shalt thou turn it into money.
Read.
And bind up the money in thine hand.
So when you have a big wad of money in your hand, it's very, very easy to carry that 300 miles vice carrying all those increase of your crops and animals 300 miles. That's when you sell and turn it into money, bind it in your hand, read,
and bind up the money in thine hand,
read,
and shalt go into the place which the Lord thy God shall choose.
read on.
And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after.
So you shall bestow, meaning now bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth for, meaning now you got to buy now, okay? You have to buy what your soul lusteth for. Read.
And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thy soul lusteth after.
Read.
For oxen,
For oxen.
or for sheep,
Read.
or for wine,
Read on.
or for strong drink,
Read on.
or for whatsoever thy soul desireth. And thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household.
Read on.
And the Levite,
So this is what the tithing is all about, okay? And the Levites, read.
and the Levite that is within thy gates,
Read.
thou shalt not forsake him,
Read on.
for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee.
So what does that mean? So when we went into the land of Canaan, right, the land was divided into 11 lots, okay? The Levites lived amongst us in the cities, okay? It was our responsibility to take care of the Levitical priests of God. Read on.
Verse 28. At the end of 3 years, thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and shalt lay it up within thy gates. And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger,
And the stranger, and who else?
and the fatherless,
And the fatherless, read.
and the widow,
And the widows, too.
which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all thy work of thine hand, which thou doest.
So what is Malachi 3:10 all about? Bring ye all your tithes to the storehouse, that the Levitical priests, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widows could be taken care of with the tithe. That's what it's all about, okay? That's what it always been all about. Give me Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Make sure y'all write these scriptures down. It's you new people. They don't come to us on the street with this right here. They get straight rebuked.
Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21.
So here's where the 10th comes from. 10% of your income. Read.
Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21.
Read.
And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tenth in Israel for an inheritance, for their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation.
You see that? That's where the 10th comes from. The 10th, that's where the pastor used the 10% of your income. All right? But the Lord is referring to the Levitical priests getting a tenth of in Israel of what? The tithe that was given to him. Give me Leviticus chapter 27, 130 through 32. Then we're going to move forward.
The book of Leviticus chapter 27 and verse 30. And all the tenth of the land.
All the tithe of the land.
Oh, yeah, sorry. And all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit.
You see that? You see what they're saying? What tithing mean, right? It's the seed of the land and of the fruit. That's what the tithe is. Okay, read it again.
And all the tithe of the land, whether of the seed of the land or of the fruit of the tree, is the Lord's. It is holy unto the Lord.
Read.
And if a man will at all redeem aught of his tithe,
Read on.
he shall add thereto the fifth part thereof.
Read on.
And concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock.
You see what the tithes mean? The tithes of the trees, the seed of the land, or the fruit of the trees. The tithe is referring to the herd and of your flock as well. Read on.
And concerning the tithe of the herd or of the flock, even whatsoever passeth under the rod, the tenth shall be holy unto the Lord.
The 10th shall be holy unto the Lord. That went to who? The Levitical priests. That's where the 10th comes from. That's why those stinking pastors that says, give me 10% of your income, this is where they get it from.
Right. I saved a bundle of money by switching to the truth.
Yeah. Oh, pray.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.